Okay, let's go right back in to our next assignment, which is going to be the first part of the Pokemon assignment. Over here, you can get rid of these if they're bothering you. Just hit the little X. Um, and let's get rid of our greeting. You could leave it if you wanted, but I think it's interesting to get, or better to get rid of it. I am again going to give you some code to copy and paste over here. And you can see that it's a lot of typing. So you might want to take advantage of that, or you can also build your own version of this when you do it. Let's start. I'm going to start by copy and pasting. You can do it. You can copy and paste the whole thing when you do it for your assignment. But let's start with, I'm going to copy and paste in some Pokemon. Now, unlike our last time, this is not a relationship from one thing to another. I'm categorizing each of these. So an EV is a normal, a Snorlax is a normal, Squirtle is definitely a water, the most famous water there is. Even I know him. Even I know Charmander's a fire. So these are different. Oh, I have Bulbasaur down. Oh, Bulbasaur is grass. Okay. So these are some different guys, and these are the type of Pokemon that they are. Okay, then I found this lovely thing in Wikipedia about Pokemon gameplay. And there is this chart. We'll talk about it in class. And I'm just looking at these guys right here. What I did was I mapped out all the damage points for grass, water, fire, and normal against normal, fire, water, grass. So I mapped those relationships out. And those are here. So 1 point type to type, normal to normal will give 1 point of damage. That's a 1 point relationship. So I have all the 1 point relationships of normal to something. Then I have the 1 point relationships fire, water, grass to things. And I have to list them again because this is the first to the second. So in this case, the first is the attacker, the second is the defender. Okay, then we have some half point damage and we have some 2 point damage. So you can go ahead and put those in your just paste it in. Okay, now we have a function. We have this really long and complicated function. But let's take a look at what that means. Move that slide back where it was. I need to go down to, okay. If then in Prolog works differently, it's doing something different than if then else in any other language that I know of. What it's doing, well, that was different. It started, the microphone stopped working in the middle of things. All right, so we're back. So if then else, what it's doing here is it's going to try A. If A is true, it will test to see if B is true or false. So the result you would get if A is true and you got a true result, then that would mean that A and B are true. If A is false, it will try C. So it can be very difficult to interpret the true or false that you get out of one of these Prolog functions unless you're really careful. So we're going to start, it doesn't look like we're going to start slow, but we're going to start with this one. And let's look at what this one does. Okay, so what this one does, oh, my stuff got all out of whack for my spacing. Okay, so now it's back. All right, so what this one does is this is going to test if this Pokemon is going to deliver 1 point of damage. It's going to test a Pokemon against a type. Okay, so you're going to now. This starts with a lowercase. The uppercase in the middle, this is called camel case. As far as the computer is concerned, this is lowercase, so I can still, so that's still a function definition. Okay, and then inside the parentheses, I don't have capital X. I'm going to have, this is a capital letter because this is going to be a variable, and this is going to be a variable. All right, then, so that's our function, that's like the function name and the parts that it takes. And then right here, this little weird, this weird little colon, it looks like a frowny face because it's colon dash and then the open parentheses. So this little frowny face starts our definition, and our definition for our function is gonna end over here. And so this is the first thing it tests. It's gonna say, is the Pokemon that you put into this, is it a water type? If true, then test our 1 point type to type, water to type, and the type here will be the type you put in there. Okay? If so if that's true, then this will return a true. Else, what I did, these are nested if then else's. So I took an if then else, and inside the else I put another if then else. And this is we'll then see if it's a fire Pokemon and test fire versus the type. Else, oh, there's another nested thing in here. Else, test this, test the grass and see if the grass is a 1 point. Else, come and test this one. Okay? And then, because if all of these tested true, then I want you to return false. And so false will go right there. All right, so that is our one function that we are going to use or attempt to use in our program here. All right, so just paste that in. And now we are ready to ask a bunch of questions. So first, let's see. Oh, why are these not turning red? They should all turn red. Huh. All right, we'll see if it does it when I go. Let's ask normal Rowlet. Okay, let's ask. Run that. Oh, it is not normal. All right, what is a normal one? EV. Let's test that one. Oh, so that's true. Okay, then let's see. We'll test 1 point type to type. Okay, so we can say, let's say we wanted to find all the things that would give 1 point of damage for a normal. And then we gotta end it with that period because it's really messes it up when it. Right, let's try that. Whoops. 1 point. Oh, I didn't print. There we go. Spelling matters. Okay, there we go. Okay, look at next, next, next. Okay, that's all we have. So things that will deliver, that I can deliver 1 point of damage to are those. Okay, now let's test. We have these. Let's test this big function down here. Just gonna copy it over to make sure my spelling is better. And for the Pokemon, let's do Bulbasaur. And for the type, let's do normal. true. All right, and that is working. Okay, I'll come back in a sec with another part of this. I gotta go plug in my computer. Okay, so now some fun things to do with our 1-point Pokemon type to type thing, besides checking ones that we know would work, is we can go up here and let's see, we can look at, since we're only doing the 1 points, let's find a normal as our, we can do EV. I don't know if that's the one I just used, the previous thing. Okay, we can do EV. And for type, we can say, well, give me all the types that I can do 1 point of damage to. And I'm going to put a period at the end so I can run it. I'm going to hit run. Okay, and remember I have to say next, next, next. And it's going to give me all the types that I can do 1 point of damage to. So we're starting to get something that's a little bit useful. And we'll keep going with these. We need to add, different powers and things, but we can cook up quite a little prologue mind here for the Pokemon stuff. There is one thing we have to look at here though, and that is the way that this function is designed. When it gets through all of these things, right, to the end, it'll go to false. Okay, so this means that this function is a little bit broken, and we'll work on fixing this function in the next part of our prologue work. And the reason why it's broken is if we put something in the first, right, and we put X here, it's going to give us all the values of type that Eevee can do 1 point of damage to. Okay, but if we ask it, well, which Pokemon can I do, can water damage, right? If we want to try to use this and say, if I put water as the type in here, and we run it, we just get false. So it's not as useful as before. So this, when we're querying just these really simple ones, notice like if I go up here and said, and I just use the 1 point type to type, I could put normal and X here. Let's just click 10 and it will give me up to 10. Or I could come back here and I could click X to, let's pick something else. Not all that, let's pick normal again. Normal is the most interesting one so far. Okay, and then we hit run. All right. Now, this gave us information on both whether we put one in the front or the beginning because of the way this relationship is defined. So next time in our part 2, we'll talk about how do we make this into something more useful that we can use back and forth like that. And we'll also build up some things that will do more operations with the if then else so that we can start using this to store all the possibilities for Pokemon battles. And in the end, what we'll have is a gameplay engine for Pokemon that's written in Prologue, and I think that'll be pretty cool. So your homework is going to be to put this in to your own file, okay? And then you'll see in the assignment, I'll have you go to here, and what I want you to do is put electric in, just electric, right? We're just going to add electric. And there'll be more information about that in the homework packet, or it'll just be a little homework page, I guess, on this. So you'll need to add electric. The blank spaces are 1. The blank spaces are worth 1 damage point. The red are half, the green are 2. So every time you see a blank space, here electric will do 1 damage to normal. Electric will do 1 damage to fire. All right, have a good time. Bye.